Hello everyone, today we will create some common website elements using Laravel and Spur. Let's start with the basic one, which is the avatar that shows initials. And for that we can use the Spur avatar component and just passing the initials to it. And it would appear like so. Now let's just increase the size a little bit. That's much better. And we can also pass an image to it like so. Now, what we want to do is to show a context menu once you click on the avatar to navigate from. And for that, we can use the Spur drop-down component. And the drop-down component provides a name slot called trigger that lets you define the trigger for it. And let's do so. And just paste the avatar that we just wrote. Now let's define the drop-down options, and for that we can use the drop-down option Spur component. Let's start with the profile, then settings, and last logout. And now once you click on the avatar, you see the context menu that we just defined. And you can do quite a lot of things with this. It can navigate or it can do some actions. Now, for this trigger component, we can also swap it with anything of our choice. Let's, for example, choose the button component, which is a basic functionality that you'd have all over the place. And let's name it account settings, for example. Now it just switches to a button. Now let's try to just set a different color for the button. You can just do something like this, indigo, and now it just changed. And this is for the drop down. Let's try to check another component, which is the modal. For the modal, we can use the same API. We can keep the button as it is, but now let's remove everything else. Let's imagine we want to do a login form. And for the login form, we have an email, password, and just a login button. Let's define that. So we can use the Spur field component to set a field. Let's say the first one would be an email. And for the email, would have a label, which would be called an email. And last would be the input itself. And for that, let's give it a name of email as well. And let's say placeholder email. And now let's copy this for the other field, which is the password. And also let's give it a type password, which is a very basic HTML, but just using the Spur component instead. And last but not least, let's add the button itself. Let's just wrap it in a div, and we can use the same thing we have over there. And let's choose just a different color here, and we can say login. And for that, we can just also call it login. Now, once you click on it, you'll see the form that we defined, and it have the fields that you assigned and everything. Now let's just give some padding here with normal tailwind. So for this one, we can just pass, let's say, empty4, then flex, justify, and just normal tailwind classes. Now it looks much better. So all of these you can do with Laravel and Spur together. And you can do a lot more with Spur components that take a lot of abstraction out of the way, like keeping the state of the drop downs, modal, and so on. And you get a lot of nice things out of the box as well.